Week 2, God's presence is everything. Chapter 10, the consequence of unfaithfulness. This chapter serves as a bridge from the genealogies to the story of David's reign. It begins not with David, but with the tragic end of Israel's first king, Saul. The author recounts Saul's final battle and death to make a crucial point. The kingdom was transferred to David because Saul was unfaithful to God. His story is a stark warning of what happens when a leader forsakes God's presence and guidance. A breakdown of the chapter. The chapter details the final disastrous battle of King Saul against the Philistines on Mount Gilboa, Saul's defeat and death, verses 1 to 7. The battle is a complete rout. The Israelite army is defeated, and Saul's 3 sons, including his heir Jonathan, are killed. Wounded by archers and facing capture, a desperate Saul asks his armor-bearer to kill him. When the man refuses, Saul takes his own sword and falls on it. The desecration of Saul's body, verses 8 to 12. The Philistines find Saul's body, strip it of its armor, and fasten his head in their temple. They display his armor as a trophy in the temple of their idols. It's an act of ultimate humiliation. However, the valiant men of Jabesh-Gilead undertake a risky mission to retrieve the bodies of Saul and his sons and give them a proper burial. The reason for Saul's fall, verses 13 to 14. This is the key part of the chapter. The author acts as a commentator, explaining why this tragedy happened. Saul died for 2 specific reasons. 1. His transgression which he committed against the Lord. He was unfaithful and did not keep the word of the Lord. 2. He asked counsel of one that had a familiar spirit to inquire of it, and inquired not of the Lord. He consulted a medium instead of seeking God's guidance. Because of this, the Lord slew him, and turned the kingdom unto David the son of Jesse. Connecting to our theme, God's presence is everything. This chapter provides the negative example that sets the stage for David. Saul's reign failed because he stopped relying on God's presence. He acted out of fear and disobedience, culminating in him seeking guidance from a forbidden, demonic source rather than from the Lord. He actively rejected God's presence and counsel. The result was personal and national disaster. He lost his sons, his life, his kingdom, and his honor. This story powerfully illustrates that leadership, success, and life itself are impossible without faithfulness to God. It creates a hunger for a new king who will value God's presence above all else. That king will be David. Reflection questions for your group. 1. Verse 13 says Saul died for his transgression. What are some ways we can be tempted to act unfaithfully or disregard God's word in our own lives? 2. Saul turned to a medium because he felt God was no longer answering him. When you feel distant from God, where do you turn for guidance? 3. The men of Jabesh-Gilead risked their lives to honor Saul's body. What does their loyalty and bravery teach us about honoring leaders, even flawed ones? Key takeaway for Chapter 10: Forsaking God's presence and guidance ultimately leads to failure and ruin. When you're